Hi there, welcome on behalf of the project brainlabs.ru, where we aim to maximise the development of human cognitive abilities. It is time for another nootropic drug, which goes by the long name methionyl glutamyl histidyl phenylalanine prolyl glycyl proline, but is sold in Russia only by one brand called Semax. We will only use its brand name just because it's simpler, not for advertising purposes. Remember that our project does not urge you to use nootropics. No drug will help unless you actively develop your brain. History of methionyl glutamyl histidyl phenylalanine prolyl glycyl proline. The drug is interesting from at least one perspective. It was developed in Russia quite recently and does not reek of old school paracetam. It all began in the 60s in the Netherlands when local researchers took a certain hormone produced by the body, we will talk about it later, and conducted a study on rats. The goal was the most noble, to investigate the effect on the brain to improve it. They chose to study hormones for a very simple reason. No synthetic drugs can have maximum effectiveness without any side effects, so the scientists had to revisit something that has long been there. To put it simply, they took a regular working hormone that can positively influence brain development and started fixing it, altering two for an optimum effectiveness-safety relationship. The effects, while positive, were not revolutionary. The main problem was that the effect was very short-lived, a mere few minutes. In the 70s, the USSR got involved in the development of this hormone. We were able to extend the duration of the positive effect 50-fold. To simplify it even more, the drug was made into nasal drops rather than injections, like in the rat experiment. In late 1994, Semax was registered. In 1997, it was included in the first aid kit of the Ministry of Emergency Situations, to help when working in extreme conditions. Soon it won several awards in Brussels and Paris. Since 2001, it has been available in Russian pharmacies under the name of Semax nasal drops. Do you remember we mentioned a hormone? It's adrenocorticotropic hormone that we were talking about. It is produced in the brain by the pituitary gland. Its purpose is to regulate the production of other hormones by our adrenal glands, such as cortisol, stress hormone, athletes should know, estrogen, the hormone that makes a woman and a man, if produced excessively, into a fat guy with saggy breasts, progesterone, similar to estrogen, with some minor differences. The adrenocorticotropic hormone contains 39 amino acid residues from various forms of protein. This hormone got hacked into pieces, so it ended up having only 7 residues, which actually make Semax. How does Semax work? We will go through every step of its action, from the point where the drops are placed in the nose to its declared effects. As the drug is Russian and there are no analogues, there is no information about it from Western sources either. In Russia, the only answer comes from the medication guide and says something along the lines of, has an original mechanism of neurospecific action on the central nervous system, without any details. Well, let's get it right. We will analyse how Semax and its 7 amino acid residues work. So you place 3 drops into each nasal passage. Methionyl glutamyl histidyl phenylalanine gets to work. It is these 4 substances that work, and prolyl glycyl proline serves as the first, fourth, to slow down their breakdown, to prolong their action. So we will not consider the last 3 amino acid residues. They will prolong the action of the first 4. 1. A bunch of methionyl glutamyl histidyl phenylalanine enters the brain. About 60 to 70% of these residues penetrate the nasal mucosa and neurons of the olfactory tract directly into the brain. The rest goes direct into the bloodstream. They activate the production of neurotransmitters in the brain, such as dopamine, responsible for motivation and satisfaction, serotonin, general well-being, acetylcholine, memory, attention, proprioception, adenosine, acts as a sedative. The combination of dopamine and serotonin release is used to treat ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and depression. In a clinical sense, not your something's wrong, not feeling right thing. 2. Activation of NMDA receptors. These receptors are located in the neuron membrane, that is, on the nerve cell membrane. They are the ones that regulate your memory and learning. When you read this text, those with more active NMDA receptors will remember more. They conducted this experiment. Lab rats were given a choice of 2 types of food. If they chose the first, they were shocked when touched. If the second, everything was fine. Soon the rats learned you can safely eat. It took some longer, some got fatter. At this point, the researchers injected some of the rats with an NMDA receptor inhibitor, something that turns off these receptors. They repeated the experiment. The result was very cruel. Those who were given an inhibitor completely lost their memory. They were electroshocked again and again. This is cruel, I agree, but now we all understand the importance of these receptors and the fact that it is better for them to work faster. 3. Supposedly raises the level of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It is a neurotrophic factor of the brain and is physically represented as a protein. It is responsible for the formation of new neurons, neural connections, and the speed of brain development in general. In addition, this factor contributes to the extension of life of old neurons and connections. Initially, BDNF is encoded by the gene in chromosome number 11, which means that your level of this protein has been set by your parents, and you, little prankster, you want to play with the degree of your genetic talent. But it can happen in other ways, for example, when you fall in love, head over heels. Let's recap how Semax works. Traditionally, it affects neurotransmitters, improves the functioning of nerve cells through NMDA receptors, and perhaps slightly changes the system settings by raising BDNF levels. Is Semax effective? 100% yes, only specific difficult-to-feel effects remain in question. This drug is listed on the Russian list of essential drugs. Dosage, side effects, safety, how much to take. Semax turned out to be a light adrenocorticotropic hormone, but only with nootropic properties and no hormonal component. Therefore, do not expect it to cause any hormonal disruption. Possible side effects include the irritation of the nasal mucosa if used too often. Dosage for the drug Semax drops nasal 0.1%. 3 drops in each nasal passage in the morning, 2 to 3 in the afternoon. On the first evening, you can also take 2 to 3 if you have a lot of work. The drug Semax drops nasal 1%, warning, not 0.1%, respectively, is 10 times more potent. It is administered to treat clinical conditions. This is not something you need. The course is short, 10 to 14 days. There will be 2 bottles of 0.1%. You can take a break for 1 to 1.5 months and repeat the course. What will the effect be? Increased performance, less fatigue, but do not assume that after an exhausting working day you will be all bright-eyed. This is not how it works. Semax will make you feel much better, but it will not give you superpowers to continue working. Increased concentration. It is easier to concentrate to delve into any topic, but again, this is not a silver bullet. You just have a neurotransmitter cocktail that will help you pull yourself together and concentrate. Psychostimulant effect. Usually psychostimulants have serious side effects. Go hand in hand with them, and the more potent the psychostimulant, the more side effects. In Semax, the psychostimulating effect is light and invigorating. Therefore, there are no side effects. When to wait for the effect? After 3 to 5 minutes. Yes, this is one of the fastest acting nootropics. The half-life of the drug is 12 to 24 hours, which means that its effects will remain for all this time. Not bad, eh? To help Semax. You can best help Semax work by eating a good healthy diet and working out, but not too much. Indeed, this drug works well on its own. No additional supplements are needed. Finally, 1. Semax, proven working nootropic, won numerous international awards, used by the MES. 2. Effects, mild psychostimulation, concentration, performance enhancement. 3. The effect can be expected in 5 minutes, and it will last for at least 12 hours. 4. Semax is administered as nasal drops 3 times a day. Morning, 3 drops in each nostril. Lunch, 3 in each nostril. First evening, 2 to 3 in each. The course is 10 to 14 days. Break for 6 weeks. 5. What to do when taking Semax? Work, learn, suitable for absorbing large amounts of information within tight deadlines. Report is over. Thanks for your attention. Well, good luck. We really want to raise the average IQ of our subscribers. Get smarter, get healthier.